Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I haven't done a sit down video like this in a minute, but it's getting near the end of the year, which means it's time for my top 24 of 2024. Don't forget to like and subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, and let's get into my top 24 of 2024. Starting simply with songs. As usual, these are not in any particular order, just in the order I wrote them down based on how I thought of them. First one I have is King for a Day by Pierce DeVille. I was listening to this song a lot this year from what I remember, like my perspective of it, because I feel like a lot of my top things kind of are reflected on what I've been interested based on the start of the school year. But I think this song has been pretty solid throughout my 2024. Really like it. Next one is Choke by I Don't Know How, But They Found Me. I have a playlist called Ethereal, and this is one of the songs on there because it just feels, it sounds so satisfying, and that's the best way I can describe it. Okay, third song on the list is It's Called Free Fall by Rainbow Kitten Surprise. This one fell into my rotation later in the year, but it's another one of those ones that's on my Ethereal playlist because I listened to that whole album it's on, and just such a satisfying sound. Like, I don't even know how to describe or what to call the sound, but I just love how it feels. Like, it feels like I'm laying down and listening to it, and it's like floating. And it's a nice little song. Okay, next song on the list is Your Graduation by Modern Baseball. I absolutely love this song. I don't know, it encapsulates a feeling that I have but also don't have. I don't know, that attachment to something that's gone but not fully gone in a way where you can't reach it, but it's just gone, you know? A lot of the songs this year is just the way they sound and make me feel, which is why else do people like songs, you know? But Your Graduation is definitely one like that where it connects to me emotionally. They all kind of are musical representations of strong feelings that I constantly have sometimes. So perfect anthems for my 2024. And the last song I have on this list is Hot to Go by Chappell Roan, which I feel like is a whole little genre shift from everything else I have. But it's also one of those songs where the words capture my feelings so well. It's literally like the anthem to my brain. Like, you either understand or you don't, and that's that. Next category is books. Now, I didn't do a lot of reading this year, not as much as I feel like I did in the past few years, but also last year was a little lacking. Most of these I got from my Goodreads, so there might have been things I read in the first 6 months that I just completely forgot about, and that's entirely possible. But to start us off is a book that I recently reread because I was gifted it in Secret Santa, and it's Eliza and Her Monsters by Francesca Zappia. I absolutely adore this book. It's one of my favorites, which is why it was on my Secret Santa list. And it's a really beautiful story. I don't even know how to I'm really bad at describing plots, but there's Eliza, and she's the author of this really popular webcomic, Monster C. I love this. I just love how this like fiction mixed with the story like blend together. One of my favorite quotes that's from the comic from the book is, "Peaceful, huh? Haven't you heard? There are monsters in the sea." And it's also the most romantic line in this entire book is, "You found me in a constellation," and it makes sense once you read the story. Just read the book. I highly recommend. Next book is Turtles All the Way Down by John Green. I read this one really recently, and I just really liked it. I want to watch the movie. I haven't been able to, but I really want to, just to go down the John Green drain. I've also just been wanting to read more John Green books. I also read Will Grayson this year. It's just a really interesting read. I have some quote from it in my quote book. Turtles All the Way Down is about a girl with anxiety and OCD. It does serve as an obstacle for her, and she ends up having to solve this mystery about a missing billionaire who also happens to be one of her childhood friends' father, which kind of creates this odd relationship where she's solving this mystery but also reconnecting with the guy in a way that her brain doesn't want to do. And it's just a lot of grappling with that and overcoming it. And it's just a really good story. I really appreciate John Green as an author, and I think he should keep doing what he's doing. Next book is Now a Major Motion Picture by Corey McCarthy. This book is a book about these two kids, and it's more specifically centered around the teenage daughter whose grandmother was a writer of a popular series. I think her name was Emmy Thorne. It was abbreviated for the same reason people like J.K. Rowling abbreviated their names, so that they didn't lose credibility as a writer for being a woman. But it's just fictional, but kind of similar to that. It's a whole fictional world with elves and, I don't know, it's a whole mystical world set place in Ireland. And these two teenagers are flown out to go on set and kind of be a part of it, even though the older daughter has no interest in the story at all. She doesn't want to be there. And it's just this thing where it's a love story between her and one of the main actors, but also between her and the story itself and her finding that appreciation and connection to her grandmother. I also really like books that take place on film sets or in Hollywood. I like stories like that in general, but this is one of those where you get a lot of behind the scenes, and some of the chapter breaks and stuff are written like call sheets and scripts. So I highly recommend. Next book is Fame, Fate, and First Kiss by Katie West. Also another Hollywood story about a 17-year-old girl on her, let's say, first big motion picture project, where it's like a mystery slash a romance. I don't know, just read it. I liked it, made it on here. It was good. Last book is Highly Illogical Behavior by John Corey Whaley. Our main girl, who is going to school for psychology. She wants to go to school for psychology. It's her junior year, and one thing they want, her top school wants, is an essay about her personal experience with mental illness. And now let's look at our other protagonist, which is this kid who, after having a breakdown due to, I want to say it was anxiety and having to, like, crashing out and ending up in a fountain, he remained in his house for the next 3 years, never leaving for any reason whatsoever. And I don't know, you're just gonna have to read and find out what happens. But it's another book I really liked. As you can see with this list, the themes are pretty consistent with the stories I like to read this year. Next is shows. I watched an interesting palette of shows this year. Let's start with my first one on the list. First one, BoJack Horseman. Again, I love my Hollywood-based stories. This is the Hollywood-based stories that it's the perfect comedy. It doesn't rely too much on like rowdy humor and explicatives to be funny, but it also doesn't stray away from touching base on a bunch of issues that, of course, just take place in Hollywood, but also just in people. And it's insanely beautiful. All the downer ending episodes, just really well written and well executed show, and I highly recommend it to anyone over the age of, it really depends, because I'd say even especially at a certain point, the show's not for the weak. But yeah, next show is Heartstopper. I think this has been on my list a few times because it did come out back in 2022. It came out in 2022. So it's had the opportunity to be on the list the past 3 years. And it has been, because it's such a good show, and each year there's been a new season for me to obsess over and fall in love with these characters all over again. I really like Alice Oseman. It really took a lot not to put one of her books on my book list again, but Heartstopper will always have my heart. I'm obsessed with Nick and Charlie, and this third season has been nothing short of phenomenal and impactful. It's definitely a heavier season. Episode 4 of season 3, absolute masterpiece, absolutely beautiful. It was just gorgeous, and I love Heartstopper, and I love Nick and Charlie. Literally the best romance there is. I want to believe in romance. Next show is Modern Family. Started watching this like a month ago and I'm obsessed with it. I'm 8 seasons in, if that tells you anything. It's really good. It's really funny. It's really raw and it's just one of those shows. I just really like seeing the development of all these characters. I'm really attached to these random families. It was fun, lighthearted. Nice addition to the list. Next show, Skins UK. Amazing. Loved it. Gen 1, Gen 2, and Season 7. Season 7 was a bit more mid, but also, I guess, makes sense progression-wise. Like, these characters are not teenagers anymore, and their lives aren't going to be the crazy teenage lives they had under their parents' roofs. Roofs? Is that a word? I did not watch Gen 3. I was done after Gen 2, and Season 7 didn't even touch anyone in Gen 3, so I knew that was my time to stop. Season 4, ooh, yeah, I was done, and just for the sake of keeping my peace, I knew I couldn't watch another generation of that. Last show on the list, another Joe Locke, so automatically you know what I'm talking about because he's only been in three big things in his short career. One of them a Broadway show, a Marvel show, Agatha All Along. Amazing, and dare I say, amazing. Oh my gosh, I loved Agatha All Along so much, and I truly appreciate how a lot of it was, not even a lot of it, all of it. They did the whole thing practically. Of course, there was like the CGI and effects, but a lot of the set things and stuff were done very practically. I watched the Marvel Assembled for it. It's on YouTube. Go check it out. I'll put it up in a corner. I don't know which corner it is right now, but it'll be in that corner where the eye pops up. Ooh, just watch it. It's so good. And the songs, at this point, you've heard The Witch's Ballad. Kathryn Hahn and Joe Locke, dynamic duo. I can't wait to see more of them in the Marvel Universe. Y'all, give Joe Locke his accolades, because after watching him in season 3 of Heartstopper, that was kind of a whiplash seeing him as a different character, as an American character. So give my boy some credit for that. That was great. And Joe Locke, if for some reason you're watching this, hey, I would love to work with you one day. Whether I'm behind the camera or we're on screen together, or if you just want to be friends, hit me up, because you are really cool and I admire your career trajectory and just your talent. Now on to movies. So for movies, I think I went a little journey this year, watched a lot of different films. So this list was kind of hard to compile. I might even change some things on the spot as I'm looking through these. I think only one of the things on this list actually came out this year, even though I did watch a good amount of movies that came out this year. First one, La La Land. I can't believe it took me so long to watch this, and it was gorgeous, like Chazelle. I think it was Chazelle. I don't know. Amazing work, amazing director. I also watched Whiplash this year. He just has a way with these stories, and La La Land, that was really good, very lively. The use of colors were brilliant. It just felt so alive and so old and new Hollywood. It was so innovative. To make a piece of cinema that astonishing and different, and that's a gift, and he was blessed. Next is a classic, Dead Poets Society. Also watched that for the first time this year. I cried. I'm pretty sure I cried. I don't remember, it was late. And I had it on DVD that I rented from the library, and it had special features about like how they did the lighting for the dorm room, which was just really cool. I love Robin Williams. Love him, may he rest in peace. And that film was just so beautiful. Like, oh Captain, my Captain. I will follow that Captain. I think it's just a great story that in the end, I feel like it's saying follow your creativity, never let anything snuff out your light, and just never stop dreaming. Next movie, Lisa Frankenstein. Oh my gosh, loved it. It was gorgeous. Apparently it's the same writer as the person who wrote Juno, and it was really good. It was not what I was expecting, honestly. because I saw the trailer like back in January and I had not watched it until like 2 months ago. So yes, I was expecting some type of comedy. I wasn't expecting the like horror comedy part of it, but it really felt like, I don't even know how to put it. It felt very camp, very, I wouldn't say 80s horror vibes, but they mastered the genre they were going for. And that's all I really have to say. It was really beautiful. It's one of those things where I feel like we need to bring back more films that are just fun, like that are very campy and silly. And I think that's where my mind goes to when I'm thinking of reminiscent of the 80s, other than the fact it takes place in it. It feels like it's not something that takes itself too seriously, but it can still be respected regardless. It's just one of those things where it's like, cinema is back with that movie. Fun cinema is back without focus on so many dramatic shots and doing crazy things, yet everything is still beautiful, meticulous, and colorful. Bring back color in film. Can we talk about that? Because I remember seeing the pictures for Freaky Friday 2, and why do the walls look so mundane and white and gray when the original like Lilo Freaky Friday, there was color, there was fun, it was funky, people wore color, there was color in the walls, there's wallpaper, there's paint, there was things happening, it was different. Like, bring back fun colors and stuff in film and stop being so boring. Next movie is Archie's Final Project. It's one ride of a movie. It's one of those things where if you can't handle it, don't watch it. And if you can, watch it. It's really coolly crafted. It's crafted like a very makeshift documentary. And even cooler, if I remember correctly from the credits, the lead actor was one of the editors on the film. So it really feels very homemade. And it's supposed to be the characters making a documentary. So it does feel crafted. Also crafted by a very skilled teenager. Like, that's what it feels like. While still telling a narrative story. But without, like, rarely, I'd say pretty rarely using outside cameras other than like the documentary cameras or the cameras that are being used to film bits of different things happening. I just really like the way that film was edited and put together, and like the flow of it. Really beautiful story. Really liked it. It was really good. Last film is Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. I watched it because I saw so much praise for it, for how authentically Gen Z it was, and I have to agree. It's such, like, again, this is one of those things where it's like, I think cinema is back with this one. Very camp, it was a really good horror movie. I highly recommend it. I don't want to say too much without giving too much away, so if you haven't watched it, watch it. Okay, on to my last category, artists. So number one, I think he's literally been on the list since artist was added as a category. Conan Gray, love the guy. Literally my top artist. For Christmas, I got some merch of his and the Found Heaven vinyl. Like, what? I love him. I love Conan Gray, and I will see him in a concert one day. Next artist, McKenna Grace. I love her as an actress and as an artist, especially her very more like punky sounding songs. I think she's like found herself more as a musical artist as she's grown up. Now she's literally 18, and you can see that development in the writing and the sound and the content of the songs. Like, specifically, I really like her song Loser, which she released I think on her birthday. I love the music video. I love the sound. It's just so, love the sound. Swim Team, ooh, that one, I don't know if it's on my ethereal playlist, but it could so easily be. It's just so, literally, you're swimming with that song, you're swimming in her emotions, and it's just so beautifully written. I love her entire discography. I literally, crazy story, last night I dreamt that she released a new song, and it was really good, and I woke up and I remembered the lyrics. I should have like recorded it or written it down, and I would have had an unreleased McKenna Grace song. That's crazy. Next artist is Avril Lavigne. I love my original pop punk princess from the 2000s. And guess who's going to be seeing her this summer? Which is really exciting. First concert. It's literally amazing. But I am so excited for that, and I just really love her music. When I was younger, I was obsessed with the song Girlfriend, especially on Just Dance. Of course, it's very much censored on there, so I don't think I really heard the full words until high school. But like, I love her music. I think I have a song I like off of almost every album she's released. Like, I'm really built for the Greatest Hits tour. And my last artist for 2024 is My Chemical Romance. So, if you've watched my past videos, there's been some other band that's been up there usually with musical artists, and they would have so easily been up here if it hadn't been for the drama that went down in February. If you know, you know. My Chemical Romance. Really like the band. I love their music. My favorite MCR song is Cancer. It hits. It's so moving. I know all the words. There's, I think, a short on this channel of me singing that song for karaoke. I love it. Yeah, that's been my top 24 2024. So if you made it this far in the video, thank you for watching, and comment down below either your top 2024 or your top 5, which would be one from each category of 2024. And if you agree with any of my top choices, is there anything on here, like show-wise or movie-wise, that you haven't seen, or that you have seen and you want to discuss it? Comment down below. Bye.